Rated M for mid.
Hey, it's me. It's Hex, the most epic Ultron player in the world. This video did way better than I expected. I was expecting maybe like 100 views, silly meme, Ultron nerf, hahaha. But no, it's nearly at 5k views. That's fucking crazy. That is actually genuinely insane to me. Thanks, thumbs up. Genuinely, it's honestly shocking whenever I see any sort of modicum of success on this platform. But please know I appreciate that shit a lot. But we're not here to talk about that today. As much as I would like to and be sentimental, that is not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about is what I have seen in the comments of this video, which is just how Ultron is viewed in the community. The comments on this video are genuinely like a microcosm of how I think Ultron is regarded by the general Rivals player base, and I think that's really, really interesting. The general community sentiment around Ultron is so paradoxical, and it is so interesting for that reason that it really does make me wonder what they're even going to do with Ultron. I'm not gonna lie. So this isn't like a scripted video or anything. This isn't like some sort of like crazy like thesis or anything. I'm not making a video essay. This is kind of a ramble. This is Hex Rambles. You know, sub for more fucking shower thoughts type content like this, I suppose. I'm probably never gonna do this again. Because I doubt I'll have another video that does this well and breeds this much discussion and conversation in the comments. Anyway, if we go down and take a look, you see a lot of the top comments are sort of following the same trend that like I was making fun of in the video, where it's like, oh my god, I was hoping they buff Ultron's healing, but then we don't, we got Nerf, and then it's like, oh, Yamcha, we're fucking dead in the dirt, especially because Jean is coming out, and like Thing is getting the anti-flyer thing, you know. It's gonna be a tough season for flyers, and Mantis is getting a buff as well, so res comp will be even more prevalent, and she'll probably outpace Ultron in most circumstances anyway, you know. It's just like all that, all that sort of stuff. And that's sort of reflected in most of the comments. I feel like, yeah, you know, Firewall's one of the worst part of the game. They doesn't even play their own game, and then, like, you know, making fun of like how Luna's 12-second ult, you know, nerfing Ultron, Luna doesn't get touched. Like, these are all valid points, and this is sort of the sentiment that I generally do feel having solo queued Ultron from unranked to Celestial. People hate Ultron. If you come watch my streams, I literally streamed like earlier today, like 2 hours ago, and I played Ultron. We lost on offense, and immediately Ultron was blamed, even though we were playing into a Panther and we were playing triple healer, and I was pretty much the only one trying to stop the dives. And Ultron is very good against dives because, you know, he bumps up breakpoints with the firewall, and he gives sustained healing, so Panther can't instantly just shred like the supports in half a second. So why was Ultron the problem? I don't know. Stop. God damn it. There it is! See, they're calling it's Ultron!
Would be good here.
It's Ultron's fault again!
We don't need Ultron, we need like two normal healers. Like if you go Ultron, just gonna AFK. Get off Ultron. We don't need him. Okay, you're still 9 of 9.
Yeah,
You
let's
lost
get the
3
heals.
kills the entire
Yeah, it was definitely the Ultron's fault. I genuinely do not know. That's why these comments are so interesting to me, because like I said before, they're like a microcosm of how the community views Ultron. In general, people think he's garbage. It really genuinely does feel that way. People will flame you for hovering Ultron. They will target ban you and say you're not playing Ultron because he's a throw pick. All those sorts of things. If you drop by my streams, that is a very common thing to happen. Generally, these people here sort of like push that idea because it's all like, yeah, he sucks. Welcome to the club, need buffs, get nerfs. Nerfing his shield is utterly insane. Actually getting a character right and then going down, kick him like a dog. See, it's like, they despise this game. They nerf the weakest characters while buffing the stronger ones. He's viewed as very weak. He's a weak strategist. He only works in triple healer, you know, that sort of thing. I think he works okay in 2. He's viable in 2 healer if the team is smart. Teams don't want to be smart, so he only works in triple healer. You know, I see that. I understand that. Go a bit lower, and then you still have to say the weak sport in the game needs to be nerfed for the straight face, Blizzard level delusional. Like, delusional. That's how some people feel about Ultron. They think he's that bad. They think he is that awful. Then down here, yeah, here we go. Here you see a little bit. Good. I'm tired of this guy surviving. Ultron nerf is reasonable because people don't know how to play him or play with him. Because again, I can give brawlers, characters make their own shields, counterpick when the enemy has 1 dive. This is true. Ultron knows all where teammates are going Vanguard when they're standing in a cloak bubble or 3 dive DPS. That is also true. This guy is absolutely right, but again, even in a scenario where the enemy has 1 dive and we're triple healers, Ultron is still blamed if the team starts doing well. Ultron is really strong in support comps. The only way he's wrong viewing will know the support. I kind of don't agree with that, but I get it. I do get it. Keep going. They nerf Ultron because nobody could fucking agree if he was good or shit. It's your own fault. I definitely don't agree with that, but I do agree that this is absolutely true. Nobody can agree if he's good or shit. These comments prove it. This is the most polarizing character in the game, apart from maybe Panther. But I feel like with Panther, it's everyone is aware that he can absolutely steamroll you unless you counter him. So he's not really that polarizing, I suppose. But Ultron is immensely polarizing because it's either he's shit or he's really good. Either or. Dumb as hell, Ultron is great healing. Legit top 5 duelist, top 3 strategist this patch. Ultron is very good in 2.5, so he didn't get banned. Made the flying meta too strong. A lot of stupid people in this comment saying never understood Ultron's design and game plan. Which is a bad character. He was never bad. He was all you're going to say is because your favorite content creator told you to think that. I absolutely agree with this. Ultron is a victim of people shit-talking him before he came out. They came out and he's kind of decent, but everyone hated him already because, Necro said that he's garbage or whatever, or Boger said he's garbage, the big voice in the community, they yap, he's garbage. His healing is good, though. Brother, Ultron is meta. He's the reason why there's a flying meta. Oh, there he is. I was scrolling through. There he is. This is why I should even go back to make clothes and toys on games, bro. Leave that to Japan. Japan is Asia as well, you fucking moron. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I do want to take a look at just some of the replies after some comments I left, because these sort of, showcase my perspective on this, I would say, because I don't really have a horse in whether or not Ultron deserves a nerf or a buff. I just want him to be able to get more healing by dealing damage. I just think that would fit his character and would make him more viable in a 2-healer comp. I think that would be nice. But again, I'm also biased in wanting a buff for him because I solo queued from unranked to Celestial with so many people in my ear telling me that he's a throw pick and that he's garbage and whatever. I don't know. I want to show off a lot of my replies here where I said that almost every game I get yelled at that Ultron's a garbage character with garbage heals. And it's not a matter of how well he's done statistically or on paper. This is a matter of them nerfing a character that most of the player base thinks sucks. I think this is the most real, this is the most true perspective to have on the nerf. Because Ultron is he's in such an odd space. He is such a paradoxical character in that it feels like everyone hates him for being weak. But he has a really high win rate, he gets banned a lot in the top ranks, and a lot of people think he's meta. He is so polarizing, and I feel for the devs because I really don't know what they can do about Ultron in this situation, because overwhelmingly the people in these comments think that he's bad, but they still nerfed him, he still did well in the Pro League, he still has a high win rate, and there are people here who are aware that he is immensely strong in certain team comps and can essentially shut down dive if the team knows what they're doing. And here's another one. His healing is good though, I agree, but the most player base doesn't, in my experience. Here, Ultron healing is great if your team plays around it. True. And down here, I can say, I solo queued from unranked Celestial. Even at high elo, people refuse to play around the drone, and will fully expect to be heal bottle while staying out in the open or extending. Very commonly find myself being blamed, told to swap the moment we start losing. Been flamed for hovering Ultron and character select. My own teams have targeted my Ultron because he's a throw pick. Stuff like that. That's why the nerf hurts. Because it really feels like he's the underdog, and people hate him. But then they nerfed him, so it means he's doing well. So why don't people act like he's a good character? And then here, that's irrelevant. It is irrelevant. If they did bad, it's on them, not the Ultra trailer. That is absolutely true. But you have to admit that the sort of general psychological pressure of trying to play Ultron and knowing that he is viable, but being yelled at all the time and being told to not because he's garbage, not play him, that's not great. It's not great. Here's another one I want to point out. I don't think he needed nerfs, but all these comments calling him the worst support in the game are extremely delusional. I fully agree. But it's the perception he has. Don't act like the general consensus of the community isn't that he's garbage. It genuinely does feel that way. I understand that in the highest ranks of the game, it's Celestial, which is what? Top 0.5% or top 1% of the player base? I understand that he gets banned a lot there, and they understand that he's good. That's not the majority of the player base. Even in Grandmaster, where Ultron is good still, you will still get yelled at for playing him because he's a throw pick. Like I say here, the issue isn't the nerf itself. It just feels paradoxical to even see a nerf when it feels like he's regarded as garbage by the majority of the player base. Again, whether he got nerfed or buffed is negligible to me. I don't care. He could get a nerf, he could get a buff. I don't care. He's still going to be my main. I love Ultron. I really enjoy playing him. I enjoy sort of the clinical precision playstyle he has, and he's my favorite Marvel character. So of course I'm going to still main him. But don't try and tell me that Ultron is considered OP. Or super powerful. He's not. He's considered that by people who understand his strengths, a lot of people don't. A lot of people have been brain rotted by what the streamers and stuff said before he came out, and they just see an Ultron and they start seething, and then the moment you start losing, it's the Ultron's fault, blame the Ultron, yell at him. That's why the nerf just, it feels like salt in the wound, because it feels like players already hate Ultron players and don't recognize that they're good, or that Ultron is a good pick. So seeing a nerf is just like, well, God, why? But there's a reason why. It's because he's good. Did great in the Pro League. He was I think Rymazing ran Ultron a bunch in Sentinels, and they won a bunch of those matches. He has a very high win rate, especially in the lower ranks, because in the lower ranks, players struggle to deal with flyers, because, you know, they require aim to deal with, and that's not something that's not a hot commodity in the lower ranks. So Ultron just kind of gets to sit in the air and be a low elo bully while providing extra value by healing. So that's why they nerfed him. He did good in Pro League. He has a high win rate overall. He has a high pick rate overall. So therefore he's good. So, and that's why it's so paradoxical, because it just doesn't fucking feel like it, and that's so interesting to me. It's so interesting. I don't think I've ever quite seen this in a game. Okay, before we wrap things up, I did pull up the Rivals hero data for this season, just to sort of like to prove what I'm talking about, to prove I'm not pulling this shit out of my ass. So overall, Ultron has a 10% pick rate. This is overall, and that's, you know, he's in the upper echelon. That's pretty good. In terms of win rate, oh, what's that top four? 55% overall. That's pretty high. And even if you go into bronze, win rate, 56% win rate, 17% pick rate. He is the top 3 most picked character, and he is the second highest win rate in bronze. So obviously the devs looking at that going, that's good. No, not good. That's not good. That means he's too powerful. Same thing in silver, 57% win rate. He is nearly at a 60% win rate. And we'll come back to Panther. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. But Ultron has a very high pick rate, way higher than Panther, and he has nearly as high of a win rate as Panther. That correlation is not something you necessarily want to see, because it means that he is consistently getting giga wins, a ton of wins. Same story in gold. Even pick rate. He drops lower, but he's still a decently high pick rate. But then again, he has a nearly 58% win rate. Plat, second highest win rate. Diamond, he starts falling off, but still top 5, 55% win rate. In Grandmaster, he finally kind of drops a little bit further, but he is still at 53%, which is a much healthier win rate. The fact that he is this consistent is definitely, like, you know, to the devs, it's probably ringing alarm bells. They're like, oh god, he's too good in the lower ranks, we got to bring him down there. Which is also probably why they nerfed Mr. Fantastic in the lower ranks, because he's kind of just a low elo bully. And then you go into Celestial, and guess what? He's nowhere to be seen. You have to scroll down. He has 51%. That's a good win rate. That is sort of the win rate you want to strive for. That's why a lot of these other characters are sitting around this win rate. So we can essentially come to the conclusion that, like, he did run the Pro League. He was running the Pro League by teams, and he did well. He has a really high win rate and pick rate in, like, every rank up until Grandmaster. So he's good. Nerf him. We got to bring him down, bring him more into line so that not everyone's picking him and he doesn't have such a high win rate. Sure. That's fair, sure. I think that's perfectly understandable, I suppose. But there are a few reasons why I just find it very interesting, should I say. Because, again, there's the fact that, like I've been talking about, people hate Ultron. They think he's shit. Shit character. Can't play the game with an Ultron. He's a throw pick. But there's also Panther. Why isn't Panther getting nerfed? He is consistently the highest win rate from, like, literally every single rank up until Diamond, and then Penny Parker takes over, but he's still second. And even in Grandmaster, he's still in the top 5. So why aren't any of these characters getting nerfed? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have an answer. I do not have the answers. No fucking clue. That's why this video is not meant to be some sort of thesis. It's not meant to be some sort of video essay, like, you know, going into a deep dive. No, I just think this is funny. I think this is a very interesting topic. Just the status that Ultron has in the community. Such a polarizing character. So paradoxical. Where he is like a Schrodinger's character. Where he is both hated by everyone for being bad, but also understood and banned by everyone for being too powerful. And I think that is just so interesting. So to end up the video, I want to take a look at this other reply that I left. This is on the comments where, I think this is the top comment. It's about Firewall being one of the worst support abilities in the game, which I say I do agree with, and I do agree with it in a sense, because it doesn't have much impact. Most support abilities have way more impact than Firewall. Firewall has a very niche use, and in most general situations, you don't really feel it. It's just kind of like a thing to have on the side. I get guy here telling me that Mantis needed the buff. Abso-fucking-lutely. I know she did. I'm a Lord Mantis. I get it. I got yelled at for playing Mantis when I was trying to get her to Lord as well. But it's just knowing that Ultron's only getting nerfed when it feels like most of the ranked player base thinks he's total garbage and will constantly flame and blame anyone that runs him. Real issue are characters like Luna and Loki with such bonkers levels of healing that people get used to them and can't play without being heal-botted. That is the conclusion to this video, is that Rivals has an inherent healing problem with the Strategist design, because there are so many healers who are just heal bots. They will provide massive burst and clutch heal potential. So there is way more leeway for your positioning as a tank or a DPS to be bad, because you'll just get heal botted right back up. You won't be really punished for overextending or being out of position, be caught unawares, because Luna will just beam you and get you back up to full health in like half a second. Ultron can't do that. Ultron is sustained healing. When you're playing with an Ultron, you gotta be a lot more careful, especially in a 2-healer comp. You gotta play around the drone, you gotta be smart, you gotta group up, you gotta play choke points, stuff like that. But people will not do that because they have been conditioned by climbing the ranks with strategists who do nothing but heal bot and do enormous amounts of healing. So of course they're not going to be willing to play around an Ultron, because they'll be like, why would I want to deal with this slow-ass healing with this flying refrigerator when I could just have you play Cloak and sit there and heal bot me? That is the root issue. So ironically, the point that I guess you take away, or I guess at least I take away from this whole debacle, is not even really anything about Ultron. I don't think he needed a buff or a nerf. I would have liked to see a buff. I didn't like seeing the nerf, but it doesn't really matter. He's a viable character no matter what. But the real issue is that there are so many healers in this game who just heal too much, and it breeds bad positioning. And I genuinely believe that is why people don't like Ultron. That is why he is considered a throw pick, even though he is good, even though he's running pro level, even though he has a high win rate, even though he's banded Celestial because they understand how good he is. The reason people don't like him is because they just want to be heal-botted. So when they see an Ultron on the team, they're like, oh no, I'm not going to have giga heals to keep me alive when I overextend. Get the fuck off of him. Go heal bot me, support main. Go play Luna, go play Loki, go play Cloak, go play Invis. So I don't know how to end this video, and I don't know what I want anyone who watches this to take away. Don't be so mean to Ultron players, I suppose. He's a good character. The nerf is annoying, but it doesn't really change the way he plays. In some areas, it makes him even more viable because he has a faster cooldown on the dash, so he can be more aggressive and like squirrely. But I would like a buff. It would be really cool if he did damage and it buffed his healing. I think that would fit his character. Netties, please. I understand the stats say he's doing really good, but the community consensus sure doesn't reflect it. And I hope that changes. I hope it does. Anyway, thanks for watching, I guess. This rant or ramble. If you thought literally anything I had to say had like a modicum of value, subscribe. Drop by the streams on the channel if you want to hang out, have a chill time, watch the Ultron gaming. And most importantly, I'm not going to say check out the comments on this Ultron nerf video, whatever. If you want to go check them, go ahead. I would just say please be civil. People are kind of having arguments in those comments, and I don't really like seeing it. I especially don't like seeing that dude being racist or whatever. Like, it's just, I'll take a chill pill. It's a Chinese video game at the end of the day. The fact that the flying fridge who wants to destroy all organic life got a little bit of a nerf is not really a huge deal. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go to bed now. I will see you guys later. Bye.